this is Victor, aka Motart the Second. We are gonna go ahead and play Children of Morta. If you haven't seen anything about this game, I like a lot of rogue games. So this is a top-down rogue game where you just fight other things, you know, hack and slash. I'm gonna go ahead and thank you for coming in, joining me, and looking at the channel. So these are the particular list of updates that we do have. I am going to go through the main story, and if I am not mistaken, I have not started playing this. I actually started playing it on the PlayStation 4, and I decided to go ahead and start doing a series on this particular game. And so I'm just going to do everything on normal, and I'm going to let it go ahead and shoot its way through. It's definitely one of those games that you can definitely get into if you are, you like games like Diablo, or like Torchlight. I haven't explored the whole story. I just started some of the particular game.
Margaret awoke, startled.
Let's go ahead and let
a cold
dialogue go
clinging
through.
to her. She gathered her thoughts. Aged wood creaked, echoing through the quiet rooms. Near the house stood a shrine to Rhea Dana, goddess and daughter of the land, of Rhea and a being of comfort. Margaret sought answers. But the goddess did not speak. There was only the faint whisper of something dark, something hungry. The old seer's bones felt the weight of their age as she climbed. The only thought on her mind, has it begun again?
It is, this game has been created by a studio that's been around for a little bit.
John's mission would be a simple one. He was to investigate Rhea's greatest shrine. His mother presented him with a fresh divinity shard. From his brother came a newly sharpened sword. His wife gave him a kiss, and his daughter's hugs were full of reason to return home safe.
So have you ever played a game called Bastion? I believe it's created by the same studio. So it's a heavy narrative, so the story is really good, as well as the quest that you go on to. You still have to like dodge and use whatever particular moves that you have available to you. So if you're into those games, this is definitely one that you can pick up. And as you can see, when we zoom out, the graphics are a little bit better, not so jaggedy. The same thing happens on the PlayStation. You know, you use your left stick to move. I think we have, it looks like a dodge, but we can only use it with a certain time. You can see that there's a little gauge at the bottom of our life gauge, I believe, that will signify how much stamina we have. I think, okay, so we have our Y button, which will give us the opportunity to go ahead and, you know, hack and slash some stuff. I think, okay, so our L button is going to be a shield, but we have another icon that looks like it's locked on the toolbar. Maybe like a shield bash or something. We'll see what happens. The levels aren't too bad. You know, you can get through the levels pretty quickly. I decided to do a video on this because I think it would be
Rhea,
good.
a land long forgotten, a place of unimaginable beauty.
And of course, you know, you can walk into the narratives or you can go ahead and walk away from them. They're not really mandatory unless it pulls you to that area, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. But overall, the game is actually built very well.
First appeared as sludge given life, slithering creatures, small and vile.
See, you know, the hack and slash. And then for the Switch, you know, it's not really, I don't think it's pushing the system off too much. So it works very well. It looks like there's a little bit of jaggedy things that are going on. Depending on how everything goes, I got to a certain point on the PlayStation 4, and if things don't work out well on the Switch, I may switch over to the other system. We will see how it goes. And of course, you get locked into certain areas when you need to clear out some enemies. But overall, like I said, it is one of those things where you can sit there and kind of you know, hack and slash if that's what you want to go ahead and do as far as play games. You know, sometimes you don't want to think about certain things, so you tend to play those hack and slash games. I think we can only pick it up when we need it. I definitely like to sometimes not even think about certain games. So I'll pick the hack and slash just for the time being, you know. I know some people will get bored with it, depending on what type of your, whatever particular preferences you have as far as playing certain games. But one of the things that gets me is the narrative and the story. Because you're trying to figure out what's going on.
A wall, impeding further progress. A battle was certain.
Okay, so hold to use your shield ability. And then I just use the evade. And then I can heal up with the potions that are there. But it doesn't look like I can hold them just yet. At least I would hope that is going to be a feature that is something I can upgrade to. If you're into RPGs, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like I said, like Diablo. We'll press A.
Banished by light itself, the corruption abated, leaving the shard cold in hand, dark, in need of life.
So is there something that we can recharge? I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I have more questions than answers. Kind of like that other game I'm playing. I forgot what the name was. Tunic. Requires a gemstone. Okay. So is the gemstone here? Oh.
The shard grew warm, humming softly from the harnessed energy.
Greater chest requires a gemstone to open. Gemstones are found in different places like an animal corpse. Well, that's grim. Okay. Altair's ignition? Divine Grace. Damage enemies with fire. So it is a fire spell, that looks like. which I'm also thinking that Divine Grace, a powerful item that aids you with a buff. I'm guessing there's going to be more spells as we go further into the game. Okay.
Before him was now one more dangerous than those that came before.
Oh, so it's a reactive one where it just... Okay, skill point. Gain XP as you kill enemies. When reaching a certain amount of XP, you'll gain a skill point. You can use skill points to upgrade abilities in the skill tree, and you press the negative... Well, since I'm working on a Switch, I'd press the minus button or the negative button to open up the skill tree, which I'll go ahead and do, and then gain a skill point when you gain enough XP. Basically, at any level, you'll get that skill point. Depending on how the game is built, you'll get that particular tier, and we'll go into additional details here. Spend skill points to learn new skills. Let's go ahead and press A to continue, and then select abilities. Description can be seen on the right panel. Unlock an ability, press A to on that available skill to learn it. And hold on, do I? Oh, it's not giving me a particular point, but you can see how our characters right here. We can select one of these two. But it looks like it's locked down by a particular level. So we have, level 0, 4, 8, 14, and 20. I don't know if it's going to lock us out of that specific one, but I'll go ahead and lock in that ability because this is probably part of the tutorial. And of course, it's going to tell me if I want to upgrade it. It's going to take one of those skill points away. We'll go ahead and hit accept. And now we have that skill. So we can go ahead and X out of that. Now we have that skill. It looks like that was a specific skill that was locked. So we'll go ahead and go through this game. It looks like this particular circles are like save points or waypoints or something like that. That would, if we were to die,
goblins,
it would take us to that area.
Threat, albeit farther out than usual.
Secondary ability, which is the one that we just got. We'll go ahead and activate that. It looks like it's an AoE or attack. Basically, of the environment around you. Of course, it takes time to recharge.
Magnificent, but dangerous. A land of love found and of love lost. Inherently violent and ill-made, goblins were unfocused but constant threat.
So, just an explanation. It's an area attack, or you have damage over time. But I know that the fire ability is also something that is there for us as well, since it's one of the runes or spells we have activated. And then, let's see. Oh, here we go. Of course, the game's less graphic, but I think what gets me the most with certain games like this is...
Before him was sacred ground, left untouched in days gone by.
They tend to have a story or the narrative that just kind of gets me in. And then there's... additional information as far as the story goes.
And collected, the shock of his heart-skipping beats was concealed in expert fashion. Before him stood Linda, his eldest daughter, with bow and quiver at the ready, determined to do her part.
So we'll go ahead and get this. Electrocalypse, divine relic, created temporary aura that damages nearby. Now, what happens when I pick up this one? Does it become a secondary? Created temporary. Oh, it does. Okay. So it's like a shield of some sort. Alright, so what I'm gonna do... oh, snap. That was interesting. I almost kind of died here. But that's really cool to have like a shield and then have the specific abilities. I think what's going to end up happening is if you play Diablo 2, you know, you're limited on how many moves you can actually have.
Before the Guardians were not beasts feeding, but monsters consuming, destroying others. They corrupted and distorted, creating even more hungry husks.
Oh, great. The question is, am I going to be able to defeat it? Just defeated that, so that's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool to have an extra person to help. I'll have to check to see if it's also multiplayer.
Both father and daughter gathered their thoughts, their hearts heavier than before. How would they explain what they had witnessed?
Maybe what I should do is also make a series of Diablo 2, because I need to get through that game as well. Of course, it also pertains to like different classes. I've only played one particular class all the way to the end of the game.
The ancient tree had been cut down. Together, father and daughter described the horror, the creatures dripping with decay that slithered into bodies stuck between life and death to bolster their ranks. Grandma Margaret confirmed what they all feared. It was the corruption, a cruel entity spoken of only with hushed voices, an ocean of darkness that flowed from the top of Mount Morta. And the Bergsons' duty was to stand against this devouring deluge of death. Kevin was also eager to do his part in the family's fight, especially when his older brother Mark was off somewhere. He was as much a guardian of their mountain home as any of them. She stood. If they were to reach the summit and destroy this evil, as the Bergsons of old had done in the past, they would need the assistance of the sanctuary.
Dun dun dun.
Given to the Bergsons by Rhea herself, the sanctuary was a gateway to the mysterious lands around the mountain. Margaret pointed to the huge crystal at the center of the den, revealing their next task: to activate it and open the way to the source of the corruption. And once Rhea's 3 spirits are gathered on the grounds, the only gate to the top of Mount Morta will open in this chamber. By himself, or with the assistance of those who loved him, John needed to gather the 3 spirits from their lands. Without them, he would not be able to stem the flow of the corruption.
It's pretty cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. So like what I said in my other videos, I've always asked everybody to, you know, like, comment, dislike. At least let me know if you're going to dislike a specific video. Let me know if this is something that's not really pertaining to what you want to see. Also, if you're not subscribed and you're watching any of the shorts that I'm pulling you in, go ahead and subscribe, and then hit that notification bell that let you know when I'm going to go ahead and be posting out videos, okay? Yet again, my name is Victor, aka Mozart II. Y'all have a nice day.